I'll never forget the moment I realized we're watching the biggest financial scam in human history unfold in real time, and nobody's talking about it. Recently, I was reading about OpenAI's latest funding round, $750 billion valuation, and something didn't add up.
Maybe even governmental the ways.
They were bringing in $13 billion a year in revenue, but promising to spend over $1 trillion on infrastructure in the next 8 years.
How can the company with $13 billion in revenues make $1.4 trillion of spend commitments? And you've heard the criticism,
First
Sam.
of all, we're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, if you want to sell your shares, I'll find you a buyer. I just, enough.
That's when it hit me. The math doesn't work. It can't work. It was never supposed to work. And the more I dug into this, the more I realized Sam Altman isn't building the future. He's running the most sophisticated Ponzi scheme ever created.
We might screw it up. Like, this is the bet that we're making, and we're taking a risk.
A scheme so elaborate, so well-disguised, that it's sucked in Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, Oracle, and even governments. Trillions of dollars, all flowing in circles, going nowhere. But here's what nobody's talking about. While everyone's been distracted by OpenAI's smoke and mirrors, Google has been quietly building something real, something that's about to expose this entire house of cards for what it is. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this scam works, how Sam Altman has lied his way to the top, and why, when Google finally reveals what they've been working on, this trillion-dollar bubble is going to burst spectacularly. Let me show you something that should terrify you. This is what I call the infinite money glitch, and it's happening right now. Picture 3 companies, OpenAI, Oracle, and NVIDIA. Now watch how the money flows. Recently, NVIDIA announces they're investing $100 billion into OpenAI. Massive news. The headlines explode. Stock prices skyrocket. Everyone's celebrating. But wait, where does OpenAI spend that money? Well, OpenAI doesn't build data centers themselves. They rent them from companies like Oracle. So that $100 billion, it goes straight to Oracle to rent massive server farms filled with advanced chips. Oracle's stock explodes.
Oracle shares have surged pre-market after the company posted a major increase in bookings and gave an aggressive outlook for its cloud infrastructure business.
Their remaining performance obligations, that's deals they've signed but haven't been paid for yet, jumped to $455 billion. The CEO, Larry Ellison, briefly becomes the world's richest man. Everyone's celebrating again. But here's where it gets interesting. Where does Oracle spend that money? Oracle has to actually build those data centers. And to build them, they need chips, lots of chips, the most advanced AI chips on Earth. And who makes those? NVIDIA. Do you see it? Do you see what just happened? NVIDIA gave OpenAI $100 billion. That money traveled through OpenAI to Oracle, and then 60 to 70 billion of it came right back to NVIDIA. The money just went in a circle. But wait, it gets worse, way worse. After NVIDIA and OpenAI announced their $100 billion deal, what happens? Global chip stocks rally. NVIDIA's valuation skyrockets. Then, OpenAI's private valuation surges to $600 billion. Money flowing in from Wall Street, from 401ks, from retail investors. Then, Oracle shares explode as they announce these massive AI deals. The same $100 billion is flowing around in circles, but it's causing billions more in outside money to flow in from excited investors. That's where the scam is. That's the Ponzi scheme. And OpenAI isn't just doing this with NVIDIA and Oracle. They have similar circular deals with AMD, with the Qatari government, with Microsoft, who invested $13 billion that OpenAI spent almost entirely on Microsoft products, with Amazon, who just committed $10 billion that OpenAI will spend on Amazon infrastructure. It's like watching someone pay off their credit card with another credit card, while everyone applauds and throws more money at them. But here's the million-dollar question. Actually, the trillion-dollar question. Where does OpenAI get the money to keep this circle going? Because right now, OpenAI doesn't make money. They lose billions every year. Their CEO, Sam Altman, admitted it himself.
OpenAI is, quote, a loss-making machine. Estimates it has no road to profitability by 2030 and will need a further $200 billion in funding even if it gets there. Quote, don't call it a bubble.
Enough.
Somebody is going to lose a phenomenal amount of money. So where does the money come from? It comes from you, your retirement accounts, your investments, government subsidies, tax dollars. OpenAI's CFO, literally said the government, your tax dollars, are the backstop, the guarantee that allows this financing to happen.
Maybe even governmental the ways.
We're all funding this Ponzi scheme, whether we know it or not. Now you might be thinking, okay, but Sam Altman is a visionary. He's building AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Once that happens, all of this will make sense. The profits will be astronomical. Everyone gets paid back.
The housing crisis, cancer, poverty, climate change,
mental health,
democracy,
universal basic income,
cure a bunch of diseases, this cancer and that one, and heart disease,
helping you try to accomplish your goals and be your best.
very high quality healthcare, important new scientific discoveries. The marginal cost of energy are going to trend rapidly towards zero. The more equal world.
Universal extreme wealth for everybody.
That's the promise, that's the bet. But should we trust Sam Altman? Let me take you back, because Sam Altman's entire career is a series of lies. A pattern so consistent, it's almost impressive. His first company was Looped, a service for locating your friends on your phone. This was early smartphone days, around 2005. The whole time Looped existed, Altman refused to say how many users they had. He just insisted there were way more users than any competing service. It turns out Looped had 500 users. 500. When Reuters reported this, Altman insisted it was 100 times more than that. He promised he'd provide evidence. He never did. Just trust me, bro. Looped sold to Green Dot Corporation in 2012. Green Dot shut it down immediately and never used any of the technology. Green Dot investors alleged it was a dirty deal done to enrich Sequoia Capital, a VC firm with a stake in Looped. Altman walked away with millions for building an app that no longer existed in any form. Lie number one, the user base. Then Altman became president of Y Combinator, one of the most influential startup incubators in Silicon Valley. At the same time, he ran his own VC firm, Hydrazine Capital. And here's where it gets shady. The New Yorker reported that up to 75% of Hydrazine Capital was invested in Y Combinator companies. Altman used his insider position to get a cut of YC's power and pick winners before anyone else could, despite promising he didn't cross-invest in YC companies. Another lie. In 2015, Altman launched OpenAI. It was supposed to be a nonprofit, a primary fiduciary duty to humanity, the charter said, avoiding uses of AI that harm humanity or unduly concentrate power. Noble goals. But in 2019, OpenAI quietly gave up the nonprofit pretense and created a for-profit branch. Then, in 2024, they spun the for-profit into its own entity. That for-profit organization has none of the legal responsibilities the nonprofit had. All those promises, gone. And this is where Altman's lies get really interesting, because he insists he doesn't own any of OpenAI.
Paid enough for health insurance, I have no equity in OpenAI. I'm doing this because I love it.
But look closer. Altman owns a huge stake in Reddit. He was on their board until 2022, and in 2015, he made a deal allowing OpenAI to aggressively scrape everything posted on Reddit to feed into ChatGPT. Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian felt in his bones the deal was wrong.
And I remember saying, Sam is a very smart guy, very cunning. We've known him since the first batch of YC. And I was like, he doesn't seem like the most philanthropically minded guy, but he has this nonprofit that he's really passionate about. He says it's such a long shot and he needs our data. And I really felt in my bones, this is a great lesson for me. And founders really need to learn to trust their instinct on this stuff. I was like, I know in my bones, we shouldn't be giving this thing away.
In 2014, Altman promised he and other investors would give 10% of Reddit's value back to the Reddit community. That never happened. Regulatory issues, he said, another broken promise. But it doesn't stop there. He's invested in Helion and Oklo, nuclear power companies that will supposedly solve AI's massive energy demands. OpenAI needs as much electricity as 1.5 billion people by 2033, and Altman will profit from providing that power. He's invested in multiple companies offering protection against AI fraud, identity verification to prevent deepfakes, insurance for losses due to AI scams. He's literally profiting from the problems AI creates. And then there's WorldCoin, Altman's cryptocurrency project that he claims will provide universal basic income when AI destroys jobs.
I think this idea that we have a global currency that is outside of the control of any government is a super logical and important step.
But to get it, you have to scan your eyeballs into their orbs. Give us your biometric identity, and we'll give you cryptocurrency. Just trust me, bro. It's the same playbook. Make big promises, break them, profit from the chaos. repeat. So, when Sam Altman promises AGI will solve all our problems, why should we believe him? His track record says we shouldn't.
We might screw it up.
But while everyone's been distracted by Sam Altman's promises and OpenAI's hype machine, something incredible has been happening at Google. Something real. Something that's about to change everything. And it all comes down to one man, Demis Hassabis. If Sam Altman is a deal maker and investor, Demis Hassabis is the opposite. He's a neuroscientist, a chess prodigy, a game designer, an actual AI researcher. And unlike Altman, when Hassabis makes a promise, he delivers. Let me show you what I mean. In 2014, Hassabis made a bold prediction. He said his company, DeepMind, would build an AI that could beat the world champion at Go. Now, if you don't know, Go is an ancient Chinese board game, exponentially more complex than chess. Most AI researchers thought beating a Go champion was decades away, impossible with current technology. 2 years later, in 2016, DeepMind's AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol, one of the greatest Go players in history, 4 games to 1.
He resigned. Lee Sedol has just resigned.
He's beaten.
The battle between man versus machine, a computer just came out the victor.
Google put its DeepMind team to the test against one of the brightest minds in the world and won.
The Go community was stunned. It was like watching the impossible happen in real time. But Hassabis didn't stop there. He said DeepMind would solve protein folding, one of the hardest problems in biology. Understanding how proteins fold is crucial for drug discovery, disease research, understanding life itself. Scientists had been working on this for 50 years with minimal progress. In 2020, DeepMind's AlphaFold solved it, not partially, completely. They predicted protein structures with incredible accuracy. The scientific community called it a once-in-a-generation breakthrough. Hassabis won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for it in 2024. Do you see the pattern? Hassabis says he'll do something impossible. Then he does it. No hype, no broken promises, just results. Now, in 2025, Hassabis is focused on something even bigger, AI robotics. And this is where OpenAI's entire strategy falls apart. Because here's what nobody's talking about. ChatGPT, Claude, all these language models, they're trained on text. Billions of words scraped from the internet, Reddit posts, articles, books. But text has a fundamental limitation. Text can't explain the real world. Not really. You can read 1,000 books about riding a bicycle, but until you actually get on a bike and feel the balance, the momentum, the physics of it, you don't truly understand. Text is abstract. Reality is concrete. Google, under Hassabis, understands this. That's why they're not just building better chatbots. They're building robots, physical AI systems that interact with the real world through visual and sensory inputs.
There's a lot of things which you can't really describe something, you have to just experience it. Maybe the sensors and so on are very hard to put into words, whether that's, motor angles and smell and, these kind of sensors. It's very difficult to describe that in any kind of language. So I think there's a whole set of things around that. And I think if we want robotics to work, or a universal assistant that maybe comes along with you in your daily life, maybe on glasses or, on your phone, and helps you in your everyday life, not just on your computer, you're going to need this kind of world understanding.
In November 2025, Google released Gemini 3, and it wasn't just better than GPT-5 on benchmarks. It was trained exclusively on Google's Tensor processing units, their custom AI chips. Chips that rival NVIDIA's best. Chips that Google is now selling directly to other companies, breaking NVIDIA's monopoly. But Gemini 3 isn't the endgame. It's just the foundation. Because Google is vertically integrated in a way no other company can match. They design the chips, they build the data centers, they create the models, they own the products. Chrome, Gmail, Drive, Docs, Search, YouTube, billions of users, trillions of data points, real-world data from real people doing real things. And they're integrating AI into all of it. Once you're using AI-powered Gmail or Google Docs, switching becomes nearly impossible. The ecosystem locks you in. Meanwhile, OpenAI has ChatGPT. That's it. And ChatGPT is losing ground fast. Gemini's monthly active users are exploding, 650 million and climbing. ChatGPT has 900 million weekly users, but that lead is shrinking. And here's the kicker. Google isn't just winning the chatbot war. They're winning the entire AI stack. Hardware, products, models, data centers, chips, everything. Let me show you just how superior Google's position actually is. Because once you see the full picture, you'll understand why OpenAI is doomed. Start with chip design. NVIDIA has dominated this space for years. Every major AI model was trained on NVIDIA GPUs, but Gemini 3 proved that Google's tensor processing units are just as good, maybe better for AI-specific tasks. And Google just announced they're doubling TPU production by 2028. They're selling them directly to companies like Anthropic. That's NVIDIA's biggest customers, buying from their competitor. Next layer, data centers. Microsoft and Oracle build massive server farms, but they have to buy chips from NVIDIA at huge markups. Their profit margins are razor thin. Google builds their own chips, so they don't pay anyone. They customize everything to work together perfectly. More efficient, better margins. Google Cloud is growing at 30% annually. It's nearly 20% of Google's revenue now. While OpenAI is burning billions, Google Cloud is printing money. Next layer, foundational models. OpenAI had the early lead with GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, revolutionary technology. But GPT 5 felt like a minor upgrade, nothing groundbreaking. Meanwhile, Google's video and image generation tools are the best in the market, and Gemini 3 beat GPT 5 on basically every benchmark. When OpenAI saw it, they declared code red, internal panic, because they realized their lead was gone. Next layer, products. This is where Google absolutely crushes everyone. OpenAI has ChatGPT and Sora. That's it. Google has Chrome, Gmail, Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Search, Maps, Calendar, Meet, Photos, YouTube, Android. And they're integrating AI into every single one. You use Gmail? AI is helping you write emails. Google Docs? AI is suggesting edits. YouTube? AI is recommending videos, translating in real time. The entire ecosystem becomes smarter, more useful, more indispensable. And once you're in that ecosystem, switching costs are enormous. Your entire digital life is there. Your files, your photos, your history. OpenAI can't compete with that. They don't have an ecosystem. Final layer, hardware. Google has the Pixel line of phones, Chromebooks, and they're releasing AI-powered glasses soon. If that becomes the next computing platform, and tech bros think it will, Google will be leading it. OpenAI has nothing. No hardware, no ecosystem. Just a chatbot that's losing users. So when you zoom out and see the entire AI stack, Google dominates every single layer. They're vertically integrated in a way no other company can replicate. And they have Google money, one of the best AI research teams on the planet, and decades of machine learning experience. OpenAI has promises and hype. That's it. So let me bring this back to where we started. Should we trust Sam Altman? Should we accept his deal? Should we put all of society's eggs, our data, our economy, our water, our resources, our future, into his basket? I don't think so. And I don't think we have to. Because while Altman has been running this elaborate scam, making promises he can't keep, Demis Hassabis has been quietly building something real. AlphaGo, AlphaFold, Gemini 3. Real breakthroughs, real technology. No hype, no broken promises, just results. And now Hassabis is focused on the next frontier, AI that learns from the real world, robots with visual and sensory inputs, systems that understand physics, not just text. This is the future, not chatbots that hallucinate, but AI that actually works. Google is winning this race, not because they have better marketing, but because they have better technology, a better strategy, and a leader who actually delivers on his promises. When Google's dominance becomes undeniable, and I believe it will very soon, the OpenAI bubble will burst, the circular money flow will stop, the Ponzi scheme will be exposed, and trillions of dollars will evaporate. NVIDIA, Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon, everyone who bet on Altman's vision will take massive losses. Retirement accounts will be decimated. Governments will scramble to contain the damage. And Sam Altman? He'll walk away, just like he did with Looped. Millions in his pocket. No accountability, no consequences. Unless Google moves fast enough. Unless they reveal what they've been building before the bubble fully inflates. Because if they do, they might just save us from the biggest financial disaster in modern history. So the next time you hear about OpenAI's latest funding round, or Sam Altman's promises about AGI solving all our problems, or another $100 billion circular deal between OpenAI and NVIDIA and Oracle, ask yourself, is this innovation or is this a scam? I think you know the answer. Thanks for watching. If this changed how you see the AI race, hit that subscribe button. because this story is just getting started. And when the bubble bursts, you'll understand why.